So I want to start off with a little fun one first. So, Glaze, what is the most drunk you think? No, sorry. How drunk do you think Chris has been? What do you think is his most drunk moment? And Chris can confirm if it's true.
Well, I wouldn't. It might like there's some drinking involved, but the biggest, I guess, call it a messy public moment, especially. Chris brought us. Well, he brought me downtown for his birthday, and he also brought a backpack, had a bunch of beers, cans, a little bit here and there. Stopped at a few bars. Also had about a half ounce of shrooms,
It's like
and
the starter pack. Love it.
I should not have let him hold on to them for the day. That's for sure, because he must have just been sneaking them like every time. So we go down, we go to like the Hockey Hall of Fame, we meet up with another guy, go to a bar, pre-game drinks, and then we end up at a Toronto Blue Jays game. And this is like the closest I've ever sat. This is like high up elite level tickets. We're down there with like all the snobby dicks and all that. And then Chris just decides to be he gets so high on shrooms he can't talk. So now we're in a public game where like it was a history setting game for like a guy in for like
Los
Mike
Angeles
Trout.
Angels.
Yeah.
Oh
And,
wow.
and then we had to leave in the fifth inning. And I'm just gonna let Chris take over this part of the story. I'm just if I would never tell this to anyone, I would have just
Yep.
stopped and say I was on shrooms. But if he wants to admit the
No.
next part, go ahead.
We want all
I
the
have no
juicy
shame.
details.
So I
I
have
love it.
something called irritable bowel syndrome, and one of my fat-free salad dressings, which I have now rotated out of my lineup, used to give me the shits. So at one point, I'm waddling to the bathroom because I feel a liquid shitter coming, and I ruined the Calvin Kleins I was wearing that day. And somewhere in Skydome is a piss shit pair of Calvin Kleins that I just crumpled up into a corner. I sat there mummifying my hand, trying to clean the side of my leg. I almost picked a fight with the guy sitting next to me because his leg was touching mine too much. And like just absolute debauchery. Then Glaze takes me for a walk after the fifth inning. We've left the game, and he keeps saying to me, Chris, we need to get an Uber home. And he takes me outside of Araba, which is a convenience store here in Southern Ontario, because there's a patio. And because I just apparently stopped walking and tried sitting on the curb. So he sits me in a chair. He grabs me water. He's like, Chris, you need to get us home. I take my phone out. I go on Uber. Then I go on Uber Eats and I go to our Mr. Sub that we usually order food from. And I look up at him and I'm like, they won't deliver here, man. And it was, I don't even remember how we got in the Uber. And then we were supposed to hang out for the rest of that evening, but his fiance, now wife, had a friend over, and Glaze was putting me in another Uber to send me back home. And as he closed the door, I put my foot in the door like a salesman. I was like, "Hey, man, I thought we were hanging out." He's like, "No, buddy, not like this. You gotta go home."
I like the improvised adapter become with the Calvin Klein. So, like, it has to go somewhere. Sorry, sacrifices
It
need to
was
be
the
made.
one nice pair of boxers that I owned too. Like it was like George Costanza level silk. It felt great on my nuts. And like I remember I was sitting, I was just like, damn it, I like these ones. But like there was no redeeming them. They were done.
Oh yeah. To
Yeah.
be fair, I don't trust anyone that hasn't shot himself as an adult. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it happens. It's happened to everyone, right? If anyone goes, it hasn't happened to me, your day's gonna come because like I honestly don't trust anyone that goes, I've never shot myself. I've done it 3 times. I'll admit it on the fucking podcast.
Yeah.
So I'm proud of it.
No,
Yeah,
I'm not. I'm not
exactly.
proud of it. It's just
Well,
like
shit happens. Shit literally
sometimes
Yeah,
you get
exactly.
sick. Yeah,
That'd be a
sometimes
great
you
name
just
for the
get
episode.
sick. Sometimes you just get sick, and you're like, you might trust a fart, you might sneeze, and then all of a sudden you've shit yourself.
You
It
guys are hundred.
happens.
So, what annoys you most about Chris?
Uh the fact that he made me leave the best baseball seats that I've ever sat in during the fifth inning.
Probably
When-
did, and
the mushroom
I
night.
didn't get him a hot dog that
It's-
day like I promised. I
Miss
know he's still.
Damn.
this like a historical record from like one of the best players in the game, and then I read about it on Twitter in the Uber on the way home.
But
I feel like this
you
would
were
be
still
great
at
to put in
the
a
game.
film.
You're still at the game, you know. You can brag and be like,
Still
hey, I was
there,
at
we
that
got
game.
a story out of it. It was good times, you know. Watching that game wouldn't have been as good as the story, that's for sure. It's funnier in hindsight than dealing with it at the time.
It's always the best stories though, I think, like that you look back on as like it was really fucking frustrating at the time, but like now that you look back, I was like, that's a good memory. Probably the
Every
most
good-
memorable game I've been to, you know.
Every good story has, you know, some strife, some things you got to overcome. And this one was about 12 grams of mushrooms.
And we met Princess Peach because it was Comic-Con or no Fan Expo that weekend.
Oh, that was
there
so weird.
There was Mario and Princess Peach, and they actually had a mushroom with them. And I took a picture of me holding my mushroom and them holding their mushroom.
But
I
the
mean, I was
actual
also on shrooms. It was very weird when you're on shrooms downtown and you run into the king and princess of Mushroom Kingdom.